Hi, ich bin Johannes von Your German Teacher, and this lesson is about the writing part, Schreiben, of Goethe Zertifikat Deutsch A1. Let's begin with the structure, der Aufbau. Die Prüfung hat zwei Teile. So there are two parts. Teil 1, du musst ein Formular ausfüllen. You will have to fill in or complete a form. Teil 2, eine Textproduktion. You will have to write an email. For both parts, in total, you have 20 minutes, 20 Minuten. In the bonus tip of this video, I will talk about the time management, die Zeiteinteilung. Und jetzt geht's los mit Schreiben Teil 1. In this part, you have to help someone to complete a form. The test looks like this. Der Test sieht so aus. Du bekommst ein Formular und einen kleinen Text. In my example here, it's a registration form for a language school. And you can see that there is information missing. You can find all the information to complete this form in the text on the right side here. If you already feel comfortable or ready to complete this form, you can practice and stop the video now. Fill out the form, complete it, and then press play again. Und jetzt machen wir das zusammen. Now we will do it together. The first missing information here, die erste fehlende Information. Nummer 1, der Geburtsort. That's the place of birth. Ihr Freund Ivan Kamalenko ist in Moskau geboren. Here is the information that you need. Ist in Moskau geboren. Geburtsort Moskau. Nummer 2, der Wohnort. So that's the place where he lives. Aber er lebt seit 2 Jahren in Berlin. Wohnort Berlin. Nummer 3 und 4 gehören zusammen. 3 and 4, they kind of belong together. Schon Deutsch gelernt? Ja, nein. Wenn ja, if yes, wie lange? Er hat schon 6 Monate Deutsch gelernt. Schon Deutsch gelernt? Ja. Wie lange? 6 Monate. Nummer 5, the last missing information, die letzte fehlende Information. Kurszeiten. So that's the time of the class that he wants to take or he is able to participate. Diesen Sommer möchte er einen Sprachkurs besuchen. Er hat aber nur abends Zeit. Hat nur abends Zeit. This tells you it's the evening class here. 18 bis 20:30 Uhr. And there's one more thing that you have to do. They give you this paper here. This is called Antwortbogen. You will have to write your answers from this form on this paper here. You can see it on the left corner, bottom corner, Schreiben. Here you will have to write all the things that you already wrote on your form again. Otherwise they will not correct it. Jetzt geht's weiter mit Schreiben Teil 2, eine Textproduktion. Du musst eine E-Mail schreiben. You have to write an email. Therefore they hand out a paper that looks like this here. And there's a situation on it, as well as 3 things that they want you to include in your email. For each of those things, you will have to write at least 1 sentence. Mindestens einen Satz. Und insgesamt, in total, 30 Wörter. I recommend to write a bit more, not less than 30 words. And here as well, they give you this paper here, Antwortbogen. You have to write on this paper, not on your own paper. Now, before you start to write, you need to make sure if your email needs to be formal, formell, oder informal, informell. You can find certain words that tell you exactly this in the situation on the paper that they gave you. For example, if you see the words like Herr oder Frau and a family name, Familienname, this is definitely formal. Or maybe you have to send your email to an office, ein Büro, oder ein Hotel, like Hilton Hotel, for example. This means it also needs to be formal. But whenever you see given names, Vornamen, zum Beispiel Anna oder Hans, then you can write informal, informell. So, jetzt fangen wir an mit der E-Mail. Aber wie? But how? Deine E-Mail hat 3 Teile. Der erste Teil ist die Anrede. That's the salutation. Ich vergleiche formell und informell. Zuerst formell. Sehr geehrte Frau Müller. Sehr geehrte Frau Müller. Sehr geehrter Herr Müller. Sehr geehrter Herr Müller. Jetzt informell. Liebe Anna. Liebe Anna. Lieber Hans. Lieber Hans. You can see that there is not only a difference between formell and informell. There's also a difference between female and male. Whenever you address a guy, a boy, you will have to add R at the end of the words geehrter und lieber. Ein R am Ende hier. But what if you do not address just one person, but 2, for example? Das ist einfach. Sehr geehrte Frau Müller, Komma, sehr geehrter Herr Müller. Liebe Anna, Komma, lieber Hans. The only thing that you need to keep in mind here is to not start the second part here with a capitalized letter. Just start with a small letter. That's it. There's one more situation, noch eine Situation, that you might face in your test. You'll have to write to someone you don't know. You don't even know, male or female. In this case, you will use this here. Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren. Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren. Das war die Anrede, jetzt kommt der Hauptteil. Und hier auch. You also have to make a difference between formell und informell. The most important thing here are the personal pronouns and the verb conjugation. Formell, Sie, and the verb needs to be conjugated in the third person plural. Good thing here, there's no difference between singular and plural. Same word, same conjugation. Beides gleich. Informal. Du, Singular, zweite Person Singular für die Verbkonjugation. But if you address more than one person, Plural, ihr. And you have to conjugate the verb in the second person Plural. Der letzte Teil ist der Gruß, the closing or the regards at the end of your mail. Formell, mit freundlichen Grüßen. Mit freundlichen Grüßen. And then you write your given name and your family name. For example, Lars Bauer. Informell. Viele Grüße. Viele Grüße. Oder liebe Grüße. Liebe Grüße. And then your given name. Lars. So, das ist der Aufbau von deiner E-Mail. So that's the structure of your email. And now we make an example. Jetzt machen wir ein Beispiel. So this text here is what your test will look like. Sie möchten im September München besuchen. Schreiben Sie an die Touristeninformation. That's the situation that they give you. You want to visit Munich and you have to write an email to the tourist information. They also include those 3 points here, those 3 things that you need to write in your mail. Warum schreiben Sie? Why do you write? Bitten Sie, ask for, Informationen über Events, Museen, Restaurants und so weiter. Fragen Sie, also ask for, Hoteladressen. So now, if you want to practice, stop the video here, pause it, write an email, 30 words, 30 Wörter, and then press play again. Jetzt machen wir alles Schritt für Schritt zusammen. Now we do it together step by step. At first, you will have to decide, formell oder informell. Schreiben Sie an die Touristeninformation. Touristeninformation, that's an office, so you definitely don't know the person that you are writing to. You also don't know Mann oder Frau. So the correct salutation, die korrekte Anrede. Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren. Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren. The next step, why do you write? Mein Name ist Lars Bauer. Ich möchte im September nach München reisen. Mein Name ist Lars Bauer. Ich möchte im September nach München reisen. The first thing which is different to English, you don't capitalize the first letter here, mein. You have to write it in small letters. And you can see that I did not use the same words like they did. Besuchen. You cannot do this. I mean, you can do it, but they will deduct points. This will be not too good for your result. Now we can ask about events, museums and restaurants. Was kann man dort alles machen? Haben Sie vielleicht Informationen über Kulturevents, Museen und Restaurants? Was kann man dort alles machen? Haben Sie vielleicht Informationen über Kulturevents, Museen und Restaurants? And in the next step, we ask for a hotel address. Und können Sie mir auch ein Hotel empfehlen? Vielen Dank für Ihre Hilfe. Und können Sie mir auch ein Hotel empfehlen? Vielen Dank für Ihre Hilfe. Last but not least, der Gruß. Mit freundlichen Grüßen. Lars Bauer. Zuerst der Vorname, dann der Familienname. All the words that I put in brackets here in my email, you don't really need to use them. They are not necessary for your sentences. The reason why I use them is because I wanted to make the whole text sound a bit more natural, a bit more German. Okay, so oder so ähnlich könnte deine E-Mail aussehen. Just use this little text here as some kind of reference or guideline to write your own email. Alle Wörter und die Grammatik gehören zu A1. All the words and the grammar that I used are part of A1. Speaking of A1 grammar, we recently produced an ebook about the grammar of A1.1 and you can download it for free, kostenlos. I will put a link in the description. You can find tables, explanations and a lot more in this ebook. Kostenlos. Jetzt habe ich noch ein paar wirklich super wichtige Tipps für dich. So here are some really important tips for you to pass this test. Tipp Nummer 1, die Zeit. It's really important that you can always keep track of time during this test. And nowadays it's common to use your phone to check the time. And a lot of people don't bring or don't own a wristwatch. And this is bad for your test because all the phones are taken away before you start. So keine Handys in der Prüfung. And therefore, I recommend to bring some kind of watch. Your best option is something like this. It's a digital watch with a stopwatch integrated, mit einer Stoppuhr. Like this, you don't need to calculate, when did I start, how much time is left. This helps you to focus 100% on your writing. Mein Tipp Nummer 2, Zeiteinteilung, Time Management. Insgesamt hast du 20 Minuten. In total you have 20 minutes. Don't spend more than 5 on the first part. Nicht mehr als 5 Minuten für Teil 1. Teil 2 ist viel komplizierter, du brauchst länger. The second part is much more complicated, you will need more time. You can even start with the second part because no one tells you which part you have to start with. Tipp Nummer 3. Schreib einfache Sätze. Keep your sentences as simple as possible. Use only words, grammar, and sentence structures that you have practiced before and that you definitely know how to use. Don't try to be creative. This will cause a lot of mistakes. Tipp Nummer 4. Korrektur lesen. Proofreading. After you finished your whole text, read it again at least once and check for mistakes. Watch out for verbs. Verben. Sind alle Verben an der richtigen Position und richtig konjugiert? Nomen. Sind alle Nomen groß geschrieben? Did you capitalize all the nouns that you used? Is the first letter written in a capital letter? These mistakes are easy to find and it doesn't take long. Also, ich denke, jetzt weißt du, wie der Test aussieht und wie du dich vorbereiten kannst. So by now, I think you know what the test looks like and how to prepare yourself. If you need some more help, you can watch these videos, these playlists here. Ansonsten, ich wünsche dir viel Glück und viel Erfolg für deine Prüfung. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Mach's gut. Tschüss!